It is the Karnataka Rajyotsava month, and we continue to look at everything that is associated with Karnataka. And today we go to a very old temple, the Kotte Venkataramana Swami temple near KR Market, Bangalore, which brings back a lot of childhood memories of when I would accompany my grandmother during many Vaishnava festivals, especially the Vaikunth Ekadasi. One of the oldest temples of Bangalore, it has a lot of history associated with it. So, namaste. My name is Sangeeta Venkatesh, and welcome back to my channel, Sojourn with Sangeeta. And do stay with me till the end of this video to learn more about this fascinating temple. And if you are visiting this channel for the first time, I urge you to explore the channel and, of course, subscribe to it. It will mean a lot to me, so that I am enthused and encouraged to bring you more such videos. So, back to the Kotte Ramanaswamy temple near KR Market. That is one of the oldest parts of Bangalore. So, the history is something like this. So, in 1686, the Mughals under Aurangzeb won Bangalore by defeating the Marathas. The Mughal general captured all the surrounding areas in 3 years, but in 1689 sold Bangalore to Chikkadevaraya Wadiyar for a sum of rupees 3 lakhs. It was in the same year that Chikkadevaraya built Kotte Venkataramana Swami temple, also called as Kotte Srinivasa temple. Around the mud fort built by Kempe Gowda, the very famous chieftain under the Vijayanagar kingdom. It is said that the temple became a favorite with Tipu Sultan, as during the Third Mysore War in 1791, under the instruction of Lord Cornwallis, who was the then Governor General of India, a bullet aimed at Tipu Sultan by the British Army hit the Garuda Gamba, or the pillar, which saved Tipu's life. Now, the history of this temple has been documented in detail by the historian Yashaswini Sharma. The documentation report was released during the India Heritage Week in 2018 by the Maharaja of Mysuru, His Highness Yaduvir K. Wadiyar. So the temple, as is evident by its name, is dedicated to Lord Venkataramana or Lord Srinivasa. As soon as you enter the arch of the temple, you are greeted by the Dvajastambham or the flagstaff, which is typically seen in the Vishnu temples. The temple consists of a sanctum, that is the Garbhagriha, which is connected to a central hall or the Mandapa by a vestibule. The wall of the sanctum and vestibules are quite plain, except for a row of deity sculptures at the base. Though the decorative work is modest compared to other temples built during this period, it exudes quiet beauty. The hall ceiling is supported by pillars that have alternating pillars with yalis. Now, what is a yali? A yali is a Hindu mythological creature portrayed with the head and the body of a lion, the trunk and the tusks of an elephant, and sometimes it bears equine features too. The walls have been painted at several places with the Namam or Tirunamam, also called as Tiruman or Sri Churanam inscription, which looks very dramatic and beautiful. The Sri Vaishnava sect accepts Sriman Narayana's supremacy and devotes themselves to the services of the divine couple. As mark of this acceptance, they sport the Tiruman or Sri Churanam on their forehead and 11 other places on the body. Each of these signifies the presence of Shri, that is Lakshmi, and Narayana, that is Vishnu. The white Tiruman represents the two lotus feet of Lord Sriman Narayana, and the red yellow Sri Churnam represents Sri Mahalakshmi, the consort of Narayana. The main deity is, of course, Lord Venkataramana Swami. There is a separate Sannidhi for goddess Padmavati, the Lord's consort. There is also a Sannidhi for Lord Hanuman. A beautiful Brindavanam can also be found in the courtyard. There are many carvings of animals and scenes from Hindu mythological stories found on the walls. The temple also has a hall for devotees to conduct pujas. We were not very surprised to see the Gandhaberunda insignia on the lock, as it is the insignia of the Wadiyar kings. The Gandhaberunda mythological two-headed bird is believed to possess immense strength. And the Bherunda means the two-headed terrible one. The bird is generally depicted as clutching elephants in its talons and beaks, demonstrating its immense strength. According to the historian P.V. Nanjaraje Urs, the Gandhaberunda was first used as a sign on the coins of the Vijayanagar mints, many of which still exist. The Wadiyar dynasty of Mysore, namely Chamrajendra Wadiyar, the 23rd Maharaja of Mysore, established an award called the Order of Gandhaberunda in 1892 to honor exemplary service and talent to artists, writers, and other citizens of Mysore. Outside the temple, right on the footpath, is yet another stambam that has the shankam or the conch and the chakra, the disc, on the opposite sides, and Hanuman and Garuda on opposite sides. I've discussed these symbols in many of my previous videos on the Sri Vaishnava temples, including I made a separate video about the Gandhaberunda bird and the mythology behind it. So I'll link it in the description if anybody is interested. Now, what exactly is the importance of Shankam and the conch or the conch? Now, Vishnu holding the conch represents him as the god of sound. The Brahma Vaivarta Purana declares that Shankha is the residence of both Lakshmi and Vishnu. Lord Vishnu's Shankha is called Panchajanya and was supposed to have emerged during the Samudra Manthan. In the Panchamahayuddha Stotram, it is described as a formidable shell-shaped weapon that is the terror of the Asuras. It is supposed to be Shashikoti Shubhram, that is bright as 10 million moons, while the Sudarshana Chakra is equal to 10 million suns. So the Shankha represents the female force of the Lord and is held in the left hand, and also on the left breast is his consort Lakshmi. So it is a matter of interest that the Maharaja of Mysore, Yaduvir Krishnadatta Chamaraja Vadiyar, unveiled a replica of the Kottanur inscription stone at the Kotte Venkataramana Swami temple in 2018 during the World Heritage Week. The inscription at Kottanur records a donation of 4 villages, including Kottanur, made by the erstwhile King Kantirva Narsimraja Vadiyar. 05 towards the requirements of the Kotte Venkataramana Swami temple, which had been reinstated by his father Chikkadevaraja Wadiyar. 11 generations of monarchy since the original inscription was installed, the current custodian of the Royal House of Mysore created history with the addition of a replica to the temple. So it is a beautiful temple, and it's just simply not a place of worship because it has so much history attached to it. So therefore, I really thought it very appropriate during the Karnataka Rajyotsava month that we revisit this temple, the Kotte Venkataramana Swami temple. Let me know if you've been to this temple and did you know about its history. Until next time, this is Sangeeta Venkatesh. Stay connected with me and please do like, share, subscribe to the channel. Namaste.